Welcome. You're still tuned in to Salam Media, and this is Salam Media Highlights with myself, Salailo Makwidiri. And in a bit, we'll be discussing a controversy that was surrounding Chidimma Adetshina, participant in the Miss SA pageant. And I think this is a story that has, held the attention of South Africans for the past 2-3 weeks on Twitter. It was trending almost each and every single day. And one of the people that were leading those Twitter trends is Kwena Molekwa. She's a social media activist, and she's a patriot of note. That's how she labels herself a love of South Africa. Kwena, welcome to Salam Media. Always a pleasure having you on our station. Really appreciate it.
Good afternoon, Slylo. It's been quite some time I actually spoke to you. Hey, good afternoon. Thank you for hosting me. And good afternoon to your listeners also.
Our pleasure's all ours. Thank you for joining us. And I think, let's get right into it. Your initial reaction, when that initial development by Home Affairs that they'll be probing Chidimma and to look into her and her family's authenticity when it comes to whether or not, they are documented as South Africans. You're one of those people that were pushing for it, and ultimately it happened. We saw that, there's a prima facie case that there might be some fraudulent activities when it came to them obtaining those papers. Your reaction to it, you were there from beginning until end. What did you make of the whole update?
To be honest, I can't say I'm totally excited given the issues of Home Affairs because from the beginning we spoke of this, and the Minister of Home Affairs, Leon, decided that he wasn't willing to hear us, and he actually even lied to the public and saying that he was not getting any request from us and all these things until allegedly Miss South Africa actually was the one that was inquiring. So Home Affairs, there is a lot of issues with identity theft in South Africa. And today, after the whole Chidimma story has been broke and it's out there, I'm finding a lot of South Africans that are coming to me. Kwena, please assist us. I've been having this sort of crisis of my identity being stolen. There's even one lady that is from KZN, and she said that Home Affairs actually gave her a new identity, and somebody is out there in South Africa still using her identity. So those things are not just even surrounding Chidimma; it surrounds the whole corruption system that it's actually in Home Affairs, and it needs to be exposed and it needs to be dealt with. And I wish the minister's attitude was to actually to be pro South Africa and be addressing the issues that we do have regarding immigration, regarding so-called naturalized citizens, because you can't just have people that are citizens in South Africa and they have been saying that they are naturalized, but we don't know on what merits, because those people do need to be investigated. That's the reason why we've been calling for the longest time for the national audit in South Africa to be done. Because we do need that. And President Ramaphosa, for the longest time, he did not want to sign it. Today, Mzwaledi is out of office, and we feel like we have lost the battle in a way because of President Ramaphosa is not willing to release that, and we do need that because there is just too much that is happening in South Africa, and there is so many people that got their citizenship fraudulently, and even our passports in South Africa. We are losing credibility each day. Ireland now decided that they will actually be wanting South Africa to apply for visas. South Korea is following the same suit. Soon they will announce that because they've been having issues with South African passports in South Korea of people that are there that are non-South Africans using our passport. So there's just a lot that is just happening, and the government has been sleeping on these issues, and it's just a nightmare.
And coming to this specific case, I think for the longest time, on the Twitter streets, as it were, and I think throughout the media, it was happening on television screens, radio, it was everywhere. This case, the word xenophobia kept popping out. You have been accused of being xenophobic hundreds of times by people saying you're only targeting Chidimma because she's Nigerian. If she was white, you wouldn't be as vocal as you are now, and just generally generally South Africans are Afrophobes. How do you respond to that? How do you respond to those that are saying, well, this case in itself, it wasn't a matter of South Africans being patriotic, but it was more of being Afrophobes, and it just happens that you've been vindicated by this prima facie case that Home Affairs has found.
It's quite unfortunate that we still have to be proving ourselves whether we are Afrophobic, xenophobic, and all these things, because people are not willing to listen to what we've been saying. We are fighting immigration crisis. Immigration crisis doesn't have to do whether the person is from Europe or wherever they're coming from, or Brazil for that matter. I think we've been vocal even when the Brazilian drug dealer was found with cocaine on his body, and that was a very huge amount of cocaine. It did not matter whether he was white or whatever. Today, again, when you talk about the Libyans the 95 Libyans that are arrested for organized crime in South Africa and terrorism, it is terrorism, that thing, and it's not being said correctly in the media. We're just saying, no, they've been found doing whatever they're not supposed to be doing illegally. But that is an act of terrorism inside South Africa. So there is so many issues that are happening within South Africa. But then, this notion that people always want to move our worth, that we are targeting Black people. It's quite unfortunate that they are trying to silence us using this color of our skin, using the heritage that we do have as South Africans and being African in Africa also. So the problem again, we can't be neglecting crime or be protective of crime because of it's a Black person committing crime to another Black person. That for me is just ill. If you're going to tell me about other races, and then you are going to excuse a Black person that is actually killing another Black person, or maybe, let's say, robbing another Black person because of that person is Black, then we must excuse that. That is, for me, it's just nonsense. I will never actually succumb to that, and I will never actually be quiet because of it's another Black person. That one I'll never allow. Nigeria has its own rules, so does Mozambique. And when you go there as South Africans, we do respect those laws. And in South Africa, even as it doesn't matter, Africa has 54 countries, and we need to respect each other's sovereignty and the laws of each country. I remember when the former Minister of Home Affairs, Thandi Modise, talked about when she traveled to Tanzania back in 60s, when she was going there to go to exile, and then she had to change the way she was dressed because she had to respect the laws of Tanzania, that a woman needs to be dressed in a certain manner. This is what they do, all those things. But in South Africa, once you start to speak about those kind of issues, it's like, no, leave a Black person. Hey, let's use this. No, those things for me they don't make the cut for excuses. And as a Black people, we need to be building, but we can't be building every time if we are going to excuse ourselves with no, look at white people this, white people that. No, that is, for me, it doesn't work. Actually, South Africa, it's a non-racial country, and that's what we stand for. It doesn't matter. We don't believe in skin categories and profiling of people.
And I think if there's another thing that stood out for me with this whole debate, is the fact that the vulgar and the most violent part of this debate was between South Africans themselves, where you had one sect which had another version of and the different experiences of foreign nationals, and then you have another side which also experienced foreign nationals in a different way. Why do you think that there's such a divide between the experiences of South Africans when it comes to migrants, whether illegal or legal, that come into the country, and how do we bridge that gap so that we don't find ourselves fighting amongst each other, but we found a common goal. We all know that illegal immigration is a problem in South Africa, but we're not speaking in one voice, which ultimately means the issue won't be solved anytime soon. How do we bridge that gap and the discontent between the two?
Let me just be very clear. I think it's not just even about the disconnect. The issues of immigration, one, the reason why it doesn't affect us the same way, is because you find this, I would say, the middle class, you understand, they're not necessarily affected by immigration. They are not the ones that are standing in the long queues in hospitals and, having to go there at 3 a.m. They are not the ones that are denied a bed in Rahim Mamusa's hospitals. They are not the ones that are experiencing the bad conditions of hospitals like George Masevi in Limpopo, where, we are talking about there's water shortages, there is no doctors that are available, and people, are sleeping on the floor, or they are not getting food that they're supposed to be getting inside hospitals. So those are the issues that we do have. And celebrities, most of them, I would say, they are the most ignorant people, because of most of them, they look at Nigerians, or they look at foreign nationals, especially because of their attach their work to them, because they will say, no, I don't want to be denied a gig in Nigeria because of our speaking against Nigerians. They don't value ordinary South Africans. Where else you do find, you look at even Nigeria again. When you talk about the issues in Nigeria, the social ills or social challenges that they are faced with, you will find celebrities in Nigeria, advocating with ordinary people, because of they don't look down and undermine what an ordinary person is experiencing. So in South Africa, there is just this, I don't know, this middle class that is there. Their kids are not the ones that are being denied spaces in schools. And somebody's kid is denied spaces in school. You go to townships, their kids are not the ones that were actually being fed counterfeit goods that were poisonous, that, South Africans we were experiencing. Middle class kids, again, they are not the ones that their kids, when they send them to go buy bread at some spaza shop, and then somebody is taking advantage of them and now molesting that child. So those are the issues. I think, as a bigger and a broader debate of over migration, I think until maybe the middle class understand that, people in rural areas are experiencing another immigration type, because of, when you get to rural areas, you will find people that can't even speak English, or they don't even, actually, people don't know their name. They have to integrate those people. They are in spaza shops, they give them names, they start them with, just learning the language and learning just 10 rand, the difference between 10 rand and 20 rand. So those are issues, and they come with national security threat that we are exposed to, as all of us in South Africa. So it's quite unfortunate that, we have to be sitting down and, be going back and forth, instead of, one, carrying the pride of being a South African, and then looking at another South African to say, no, this person can't be experiencing this. And then we are talking about the democracy, how it's supposed to benefit everyone, where else an ordinary South African is not benefiting that within that democracy. So we need to do better as South Africans. And I think, the matter of dialogue, we have already passed those kind of things, because of people are not willing, because of, you have a better English, then you just assume that, no, it should be us that are telling you guys what to do. That's like, it's not going to work. Ordinary people on the ground have been saying this, and their voices need to be listened to, so we can try to find a common voice and a cause that is going to actually shape the future of South Africa.
Are South Africans xenophobic? Simple question. Are South Africans xenophobic? Have
If
we
we
been
were
persecuted?
xenophobic, I don't think we would be experiencing the high volume of influx. That is just an excuse, honestly. Like,
So
our influx would have just dropped. People would have long left this country if we are xenophobic. Trust me.
So I want us to wrap up this conversation. Where to from here? What would you like to see going forward? Not only regarding this case, but we can focus on this case because it is the point of the matter. But holistically, the way that the South African government, the way that Home Affairs deals with the issue of our porous borders, migration, whether legal or illegal. Where to from here? Where do you see us taking this momentum that was built over 3 weeks further into solving the immigration problem that South Africa faces?
What we need in South Africa, we need what is known as political will from government. Because our law enforcement, for the longest time, for the 30 years that the ANC has been in government, they failed to do the little things that are supposed to be done by law enforcement, and that's the reason why you have seen, the movement like Put South Africa First, Judula, that we've been on the ground and all those things. Those are the things that are pushing people to end up taking the law into their own hands. So we do need law enforcement, and we need Home Affairs to be advocating and be talking more about these issues, not just even be talking. We need accountability. We need Home Affairs to be taking these issues of identity theft very seriously. We need Home Affairs again to be releasing the white paper that we already participated in, because I believe that it's only in its last stages to actually be fixing these issues. And we need even the Department of Labor to be stepping in, to be doing its work. What we have seen again happen at Hawaii, South Africa, it doesn't need to happen again. There is just so much to do. An ordinary South African citizen needs to feel safe in South Africa. I need to know who my neighbor is. I need to, if I'm seeing a foreigner in South Africa or in the rural areas in Limpopo, I need to be able to actually be able to say, who is this person? And my government needs to provide me with that. So this thing of just, having this democracy and, always having to actually hide behind, no, Dompas was like this, hey, you guys want to bring back apartheid. No, it's not working. It is not working for an ordinary person. Kids are getting raped. Kids are getting killed. There is human trafficking that is happening in South Africa. We are the capital city today of human trafficking and drug trafficking in South Africa. And all those things, they need a government that understands that it needs to fight corruption, it needs to fight crime, and officials that are in Home Affairs that are equally, playing to this. Actually, they need to be arrested. We need accountability, and it needs to move very swiftly. So, not something that is going to be done and then we are, in conversations for another 10 years and whatever. That is not going to inspire an ordinary person. It's not going to resolve the issues that are in Deep Sloot. It's not going to resolve the issues that are in Soweto, where people are complaining that there is breaching of electricity. Hey, we don't have lack of services and all those things. Something needs to be changed, and I'm hoping that this GNU will actually have a turnaround over this, how they look at immigration.
All right, we're going to leave it there, Kwena. Always a pleasure chatting to you. Nice to see you again. And I hope you and I will be chatting soon again. But good to leave you for now. Goodbye.
Okay, thank you. Do enjoy your afternoon. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. That was Kwena Molekwa, social media activist and influencer there. She was one of the people that were at the forefront of making sure that that investigation by the Department of Home Affairs on whether or not Chidimma Adetshina is indeed South African, and if her mother, which we've heard a lot of versions of where her lineage is from. There was some people saying she's Zulu, others saying she's Mozambican and South African, but with a strong Mozambican lineage. So yeah, I think it's going to be really, really interesting times ahead. But I think the standout story, the big story today, is the fact that Chidimma Adetshina withdrew from the Miss SA pageant. I think she was supposed to be in the finale, which was supposed to be this Sunday, but after that prima facie fraudulent case findings by the Home Affairs that her mother might have obtained her papers as South African papers illegally, ultimately saw her withdraw. So yeah, what are your thoughts on this? Do you think it was warranted, or South Africans are xenophobic? We can't live, survive, be with other Africans because, well, the apartheid government made sure that it secluded South Africans from the rest of the continent for such a long time, or the actions of people like Kwena, which were very, very vocal, are granted. The fact that some illegal migrants come into South Africa and they get into all sorts of things, the selling of drugs, human trafficking. You can go to our CBDs and the states that they're in and the people that are occupying them. It's not a great picture, but they're Africans. And one person said, an African can't be a foreigner in Africa. It's going to be a really interesting debate going forward, but we're going to leave it here for now. My name is Salalo Makwidira. Thank you so much for tuning into Salam Media. We'll see you again tomorrow. Goodbye.